Monday.
Happy Monday, everybody. Happy June.
Yes.
Guess
June.
what? It's the blonde's birthday month.
It is.
This is like the best month of the year, right? Like June. We got a Gemini, we got a Cancer. We're like Dee Dee brings in June and I take June out. So yeah, happy birthday to us. We're going to do some fun birthday things. I don't know if you guys saw on our Instagram and Facebook, but there was a little picture there of a bunch of blondes, and it was, can you pick Dee Dee out in the crowd? And no, Dee Dee and I couldn't even pick Dee Dee out in the crowd, to be honest.
So, I didn't know which one was me.
That's right. So it's no wonder that nobody was getting it. But hello to everybody. We got Rob and Danny and Sam and Travis and Christina and Michael Greer. Yes, Michael, I'm wearing long sleeves today. Can you believe it? I am. Yeah, so it is June and we're going to do some fun things this month. I've got a little road trip adventuring to do that I'm hoping to pop on and do some lives with Dee Dee. I believe this coming Monday, you will catch me live at the historic Scott County Jail doing a show with Dee Dee, which will be so cool. I wish Dee Dee could be with me, but if she can't be with me physically, we will be together via the show. So that's awesome. So last week we were recorded. You know what? I've gotten a ton of great feedback on that show. Like a lot of people loved learning about these locations and having that sort of, like, I don't know, reaching back out to past guests and investigators to ask them their opinion. And so now I think we might maybe try a series of like, what's your favorite equipment or what's your favorite experiment? So
I love that.
Yeah, we'll just reach out to you guys and we'll make you guys slides and have some fun. So it was a good show. It was a good Memorial Day. It was, we recorded, we had the show go, and, some of you guys showed up. I popped on because I just thought, would anybody come? Like, would anybody come during Memorial Day? And so I popped on, and yes, some people did pop on to say hi to us. So, hey, Kyle and Melissa's here. Okay. So before we get started with tonight's show, let's do a quick little, why do I feel like, my energy is like weird right now. Might be because there's a little baby in my house right now. Yeah. I might be a little sidetracked. I'm a little distracted by cuteness that's running around downstairs. Aww. So maybe it's like, hey, maybe there's something to that conspiracy theories that actors, take that, what is the thing that they get from babies? I think they do some hormone or chemical that a baby produces and it keeps them young and living. I don't know. What is it called?
Yeah, the Drenophen or something like that.
Yeah. If you guys know what it is, let us know. Yeah. Because I'm feeling it. Something. I'm like suddenly all hyped up.
Oh, then I need a baby.
That's right. Let's have a baby. Yeah. A little baby paranormal. And she is a blonde, by the way. So
vomit.
Nice, Rob. Thanks. Okay, we're going to do our random question. Do you have a signature move or quirk that people notice or comment on? Do you have a signature move or quirk that people notice or comment on?
Well, I've been told that when I'm laughing, I sound like I'm crying and people check on me. Although, when I laugh, I do cry. So
first of all, there is nobody that has a better laugh than Dee Dee. If Dee Dee is laughing, I can't not laugh. You've got a great laugh. I don't know if I ever thought you were crying.
Maybe because you can see me. I don't
Maybe
know.
because I can see you. Maybe. Do I have a quirk? I don't know. Do you guys in the chat, do you guys notice any little quirks or anything like that?
Right. Yeah. What are we doing?
Yeah. What can you guys pick out on us? Right. Is there any weird little signature move or quirk that I can't think of any. I mean, I kind of do lots of things and I kind of change up my quirks. I feel like, they're seasonal. They're very fashionable, I'd say. Right? Yeah. Let's see. Rob says you just did it. What? Laugh like she's crying? Maybe. Yeah. So, gosh, Dee Dee, it's June. I'm just kind of sitting here like shocked right now that it's June.
You just
I know we've been talking about our birthday month, but
it came around really fast.
It came, I feel like it was just March. I feel like we were just in March and now, right?
Now it feels like it was Christmas and it goes, I live holiday to holiday, I think sometimes.
Yeah. and it's June, and I'm just not even sure here what's going on. Sam, you talk with your whole face. Melissa, your smile. I think that's a good signature. Like your
Yeah.
smile is a good signature. Let's see. Thinking move, thinking mouth move. Who does that, Rob? Who does she does the thinking mouth move?
Oh, it's probably you.
That maybe. When I do my
Oh, I
acting.
do it?
What?
Oh.
Oh, Dee Dee, what's your thinking mouth move?
I don't know.
That
That was
one? Did
probably
she
it.
just do it? Did she just do it? That could be it. Yep. Maybe.
Both.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. All right. So tonight's show, we have Miss Nicole Beauchamp. I hope I'm saying your name correct, Nicole. Welcome to Paranormally Blonde.
Thank you so much. And yes, you did say it correct.
Awesome. So Nicole, I have been watching you for a while. You're an author. You have Haunted Bay City, I believe, right?
Yep.
And then you're working on Haunted Detroit. You're going to be doing a big event for this.
Yes.
And you've popped up, and I just kind of stalked you a little bit. I'm like, you know what? I keep wanting to ask her, and I'm just going to just see if she says yes, because you're here in Michigan, you're doing a Haunted Detroit book, and I'm like, we got to see what this is all about. And your event that you have with, I believe it's Eloise, is really interesting to me. So I'm really wanting to kind of get into that, because I think that you're not charging for this event.
No, it is a free event. Well, actually, there's 2 events, but yes, they are both free.
I mean, that's unheard of, Nicole. That is an unheard of thing. I mean, and I'm so interested to hear everything that you are accomplishing in paranormal. And Bay City, let me tell you something, that is, between Detroit and Traverse City, Bay City, that's mid-Michigan, people. That is it. That's the center. And so lots of stories out of Bay City, lots of hauntings. So what got you sort of involved in this world of paranormal?
Well, it's funny you should ask. I've been into it ever since I was a little kid. I remember when I was in elementary school, there was a book in the library at my school, and it was called something like How to Ghost Hunt, or, something like that. Yeah. And I would check that book out literally like every single week. And from there, it went to just a creepy fascination from that very early age, and it's never stopped. I was always into anything that was eerie, or like horror movies, or things that would scare me. And I was always kind of a prankster too. So I'd pop out and scare my friends when I was a kid too. So of course nobody ever wanted to stay the night because I traumatized all the kids. But I mean, I feel like it was my calling all along, and I'm now doing what I should be doing. So I feel like I'm in the right place.
Awesome. Well, we love to meet everybody in every corner of paranormal. So you like the scary stuff. You read How to Be a Ghost Hunter, the eerie, the horror movies. Is there anything in particular, though, in paranormal that really captures your heart? Like everybody sort of has their one thing.
Yes, absolutely. For me, it is history.
Okay.
I have also discovered at a young age that I love history. And I guess I realized that when I saw Titanic at 8 years old. That movie, above and beyond the love story, even though I like that aspect of it, I just loved and was fascinated by the actual history. So the other movie that really got me into history, I guess you could say, would be House on Haunted Hill. Okay. And that got me really interested in asylums. So for the past, since 2009, I should say, I have been working to help preserve historic asylums all across the United States. I have helped to fund historic structures that are not asylums all over the world. And, but for some reason, the asylums just hold a special place in my heart. And I think a big reason for that is because of the history that's associated with them. And I feel like we can really learn from the past.
Absolutely. I'm laughing because Rob just put, I was on the Titanic at 8 years old. I was kind of like, when you said that you watched that movie at 8. Yeah. I was definitely
Not 8.
no, I was way almost in my late 20s. Probably 20 years. You're elder on that. So it is, I think something we really appreciate too is, when somebody's not just out there investigating, and everybody does what they love, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there is something very special about somebody that goes out of their way to help preserve that stuff, because, that's a big undertaking, right? And some of these asylums have not been left in the best of conditions, so they're not easy to restore, if at all. So I think that's very commendable, and the history is important. I think that's something that, and not just the story of a haunting, but the actual history of these locations, right?
Some of the history from some of these locations is darker than the hauntings themselves. And sometimes I get a lot of crap about the whole asylum thing. I should say there's a ton of people very excited about the party at Eloise, but there's some people who are not happy about it. And I guess they just maybe don't know that I have been trying to preserve these historic asylums for so many years. I'm actually wearing an asylum shirt right now. I don't know if you can see that.
Which one is that?
This is the Northern Michigan Asylum. I have a Danvers State Hospital poster in my bedroom that I got when I went to Massachusetts. So this is not just something that's kind of like a fluke thing. I have been actively working towards this for a long time. In fact, I did promotional photos for the last book at the Traverse City Asylum and donated $600 to them for restoration efforts. So I'm really, really trying here.
I mean, I think that can get lost sometimes in the paranormal world. We don't, I think that we don't talk about that often, or even how do we contribute to something like that, right? Like we contribute to investigators to get to these locations, right? A lot of people set up GoFundMes because they want to investigate. Again, no judgment, just simply observing something here. But very rare do you see anybody that's in paranormal actually working towards giving the money to the location to help preserve said history. I mean, that's pretty big.
And I will say too, just going back to, mentioning about the events being free. I am a massage therapist now, so I do work as both an author and a massage therapist. And, the money isn't always completely steady with the massage therapy job, but I mean, I make pretty good money. But I have worked enough crappy low-paying jobs in my life, and I understand what it's like to want so badly to go somewhere and experience something fun and just not have the funds. So I want my events to be very accessible too. And, it's just, I really want to give back to the different communities, like my own community here in Bay City, the community in Detroit, wherever I'm doing something, I just want to be able to do something good for that community, whether it be saving those buildings or just making the fun events accessible for people to come to.
That's huge. So now is this, if I read your post correctly, is this when you're releasing Haunted Detroit book? Is this kind of a release party for this book? Because this is not out yet, correct? Or am I incorrect on that?
No, you're correct. So Haunted Detroit actually will be out in stores and online on August 8th. And the first release party is on the 13th of August, and the second one is on the 20th. And we did two just because it's such a big area,
So are they both at Eloise?
The first one is at Eloise. The second one is going to be at Erebus Haunted Attraction.
And that's in Pontiac, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Pontiac,
so what happens at the event if someone goes? What will they expect?
Well, we have a whole bunch of stuff planned, which I am so happy, because I could not do this without the many, many people that agreed to sign up and be a part of this event. But we're going to have vendors there. We're going to have psychics. We're going to be serving cake. So refreshments.
I might have to go, Dee Dee.
I think I'm in for the cake. We're having photo opportunities. We have actors coming. So each event will have different actors. At Eloise, we have the Warden's Widow, who's a TikTok star. And then we at the second event at Erebus, we have a girl who's going to be playing a nurse ghost from the book.
Okay.
And then we have Johnny Depp impressionist and Michigan actor Todd Stevenson, so he's going to be there. And of course, I'll be signing the books, and people will get to. I mean, they won't get to like wander necessarily around the entire building, but they'll get to just kind of, you know, get a glimpse of the buildings and maybe have a paranormal experience, because both of the locations are actually in the book.
Awesome. Well, I'm definitely like waiting for the book to come out, because that is definitely a book I'd like to add to my collection. And it definitely, you know, I think just to get some of that local history, Detroit is chock full of it, but sometimes it can be kind of hard to find a really good book on some of the more hauntings. I mean, again, Bay City, I feel like anytime I look for something through Michigan, it's either that northern Michigan and or Bay City. Those come up big. And I'm always shocked, because I'm like, Detroit is just, the history alone here, you would think would have some crazy, you know, some crazy hauntings, you know, Corktown, you know, you're talking about where they basically were building houses over graves from the, you know, the war that went on here on the shores. And it's just crazy that I don't hear more about that stuff. So is that the kind of stuff you'll be touching on in Haunted Detroit, or?
Yes. Unfortunately, Corktown's not in there. It was close to being in there, but see, what's very important to me is that I kind of get consent, for at least from one person that works there or volunteers there, for me to write about the location, because I like to interview at least one staff member or volunteer. So, you know, I kind of go based on who writes me back first. And I was getting quite inundated with a lot of locations, but once I had the first, you know, 10 or whatever, I was like, okay, we're good. Because that at that point I'm at my word count, and well, I can't go over that. So
we do have delicious Greek food in Detroit. Yes, absolutely. We actually have a new little place right here where I am at called Estia, and it's street Greek food, but oh my God, it's delicious.
Now you're making me hungry.
I know, right? Okay, so when you do this event at Eloise, do you feel that, I'm assuming have you spent time there before it was sort of turned into the haunted house situation? Like, did you actually get to be in there and do any kind of investigation or roaming around before it was turned into what it is now?
I have been in the building. I've been in the lobby, I will say. And I have been in, well, on the property itself. I went there, of course, to take pictures and kind of prepare for the party and get an idea what it looked like. I have not done an investigation there. But the thing with the book is that it's not necessary. I mean, I do talk about an experience I had in Detroit, but most of it is locals and the businesses themselves, like people, like I said, that have worked there, volunteered there. But yes, from what I have seen of Eloise, I love it. I absolutely love it. And I do want to continue trying to help them preserve it as much as I possibly can.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the most popular locations here. I mean, if you say Eloise, that's something that everybody knows in the Detroit area. So as far as asylums in Michigan, what is the count here? How many asylums do you know that reside right here in Michigan?
Honestly, I only know of a couple. I only know of like 3.
Okay.
There's the Traverse City. There's one that was a former asylum that was in Mount Pleasant. And then I think there's one on the way to Cairo. But I can't tell you exactly where it's at because everybody's told me about this asylum, but I've never actually went there for any reason, because I'm just a big proponent of like not trespassing and that whole thing. Right. But I have been to a lot of different Kirkbride asylums across the United States. I've been to the Buffalo State Hospital. I've been to so I've been to Buffalo. I've been to the Athens Asylum, which is in Ohio. I'm sorry, Buffalo's in New York. Athens is in Ohio. Traverse City, of course, is here in Michigan. I've been to the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum in Weston, West Virginia. And I'm always looking for more asylums to visit.
Yeah. So when you do go visit these asylums, and you're kind of naming off some very popular and well-known ones, especially within the paranormal community, do you find that these asylums, and this might seem like a really, I don't know, this might seem like a simplistic question, but do you find that these asylums have their own personalities, or do you find them to be very much the same when it comes to sort of going in there and getting that vibe? Does that make sense? Like,
no, I think they're all very, I mean, structurally they're similar, but I think that they're all a little bit different. I mean, honestly, when I go to the Traverse City Asylum, I don't really feel like there's much there as far as like scary hauntings. But I've definitely had some crazy experiences at Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. So yeah, I think they look similar, but they're quite different.
Can you tell us one of your experiences that you had there?
Yeah.
Yes, I can. I was with another female investigator. It was just the two of us. We were getting, we were actually on a public hunt. So there was other people that were going to be on the investigation, but they were still setting up their equipment. So the two of us decided, hey, we're all ready to go. And we started wandering off on our own. So we started heading down the geriatrics ward. Now, keep in mind, we were the only ones at this point in that section of the entire building. So the doors are locked down. We're the only ones in there. There's not really any way for like homeless people to get in because the owners will, lock it up tight as a drum pretty much. And while we were walking in the dark, I said, is there anyone here with us right now? And this overwhelmingly loud sound just kind of like penetrated the silence, and it basically sounded like 1,000 like stretchers and med carts like coming at us, and you could hear like the old rickety wheels going, and it was crazy. And it lasted for a matter of a couple seconds, so kind of like a disembodied sound. And as soon as I flicked my flashlight on, we couldn't hear it anymore. And then when I got home and started to go through the audio, we realized that it did continue on the audio. We just obviously couldn't hear it with our own ears.
Wow.
So that was probably one of the coolest experiences I've ever had there.
Wow, that's cool. That is cool.
Yeah. Did it feel oppressive to you? Like, was it when you walk into those locations, do you feel that sort of heavy angst of being in an asylum?
In parts, yes, for sure. Ward C always makes me feel very uncomfortable.
Okay.
But I don't know that I felt necessarily oppression in that part of the building. I was just kind of shocked and excited about what was happening. And I'm kind of bummed that it stopped.
Yeah.
But I'm just thankful, I guess, that I've had the experience.
Wow.
So
what about
stuff?
Others? Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm all for the paranormal stories. Are there any other paranormal stories that you experienced in other asylums or that stand out to you?
Other asylums? Not really.
Really?
I'm still looking to, I've had a couple of experiences also at Trans-Allegheny where I felt like somebody was like following behind me, or I got locked. I was investigating with the guys from TAPS, and I got locked into one of the wards on one of the upper floors. And I went back to get my party and tell them, I'm locked into this ward. And of course, when I brought somebody back with me, the door opened like nothing, but it was as if somebody was holding the door shut, or it just wouldn't budge. So basically, that's pretty much it as far as my asylum stories go. Yeah. But I'm always looking to have more.
Yeah, maybe you need to come out to August 6th. Get Haunted is doing Hillview Manor.
Yeah.
So
That's cool.
yeah, that's not too well, a little further for you since you're a couple hours up from me, but you know, a more doable. And it's a big location. I mean, a lot of these asylums, I mean, I feel like they're either tiny because Eloise isn't huge to mine. I mean, not in
No.
comparison.
No, not in comparison to these Kirkbrides.
Yeah, right. And what is very odd to me is, you know, the Metro Detroit area. I mean, this was shut down. Was it the 60s that it actually?
It was actually later than that.
Okay.
I recall from my research, I believe it was the 80s, or I think it was the 80s. Yeah,
okay.
that it transferred from a asylum to a general hospital.
Yeah, because I know there's a lot of people, you know, within Detroit, and I know, you know, I definitely have a little bit of an opinion. I don't love that it's a haunted house now. It makes me a little sad that it became an attraction that way. But and I think it's mostly because when there were the clash between the paranormal investigators and the relic hunters, you know, a lot of people were like, you know, my family was just there. I mean, this wasn't closed down that long ago. I have stories still of my father or my grandmother or my aunt all in this location. So, you know, I'm actually shocked. You know, a lot of these places start out as poorhouses, right? And then they kind of morph into an asylum. So it's not very big for such a big populated area. I'm surprised Detroit doesn't have a bigger. I know they had Northville, and that was. What are you laughing at?
Just the way you said that. I'm surprised Detroit doesn't have a bigger one.
Yeah, right.
No, they did. They did have the Pontiac State Hospital, and then there was like, oh, I know it's not Detroit, but they had like Kalamazoo State Hospital. They had all these huge Kirkbride State hospitals, and then they all got torn down because unfortunately, so many people don't value history, and I'm just like an architecture nut too. So I'm just like, how could you tear down such a beautiful piece of this beautiful building that people, you know, hand carved wood to make the staircases and all this like fancy intricate, you know, work, and it's just like they just bulldoze it down like it's
like
nothing,
it's nothing.
like a dilapidated shack or something.
Yeah.
It hurts so bad.
That is amazing when you think about, when you look at a lot of these asylums and just how beautiful they really truly are. And so it's an interesting, I don't know, like beautiful architecture, and you know,
it's a sad place that they were, though. I mean, if there are spirits left over to say they were autistic or something, and now there's people ghost hunting, and then if there's a haunted house, they're being terrorized. So that's why I kind of agree with, I don't like the haunted house either, because if there are spirits there, and like I said, if they were disabled, which is what they had, a lot of disabled people there, they're being tormented even in their death. That's why I don't like it.
Yeah, I think I often do think about that, Dee Dee, because, you know, as investigators, we say, come to this location, investigate the ghost stories, the history. And there are many stories, right? I mean, there are a lot of investigators out there that might say this location tends to be darker, right? Or a little more dangerous or a little bit more negative. And then it's like, but hey, once a year, we're going to make it a fun free-for-all for everyone. And I feel like that's a bit of a confusion sometimes, but it is another way to make money for these locations. And sometimes you know, these are such big undertakings that they have to do what they can do. So, you know, kind of like you said, Nicole, like it's hard to get people to stand behind saving something like that, right? We are so much into knocking down and rebuilding something.
I'll tell you something kind of cool that I learned though. So, I understand your points there about, you know, how you feel that the spirits are being traumatized or whatever. I understand, but in the same respect, the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, they bring in more tourism since the show aired on Ghost Hunters than the entire population of the town itself.
Oh, wow.
So they're bringing in probably millions of dollars that would have never come in otherwise. And I don't know if, you know, I don't know what it's going to take to get that building restored back to its original grandeur, but they're definitely putting in a solid effort. I mean, they have historical tours, architectural tours, photography tours. I mean, they're pulling out all the stops, and I think unfortunately and fortunately at the same time, it's like generally paranormal investigators or people that are kind of into like horror movies and that sort of thing that are generally into the asylums the most.
Right.
I feel like I almost feel like not that I'm not necessarily a normal person, but I feel like most normal people that I know wouldn't want to set foot in one of those places. Right. But me, I'm just like, all right, like I'm going in. I can't wait to see like all the different things that are here. I'm interested too in the old tools and stuff, the old any preserved like devices that were used, because I do think it kind of helps open people's minds as to like what people endured back in the Victorian age and even before then.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. So I know such as the Buffalo State was turned into the Hotel Henry, which I believe is now closed down, which I did stay the night in. It was beautiful. They did a beautiful job. It's down in the art district of Buffalo. And it's kind of like a compound. They wanted to make it sort of like a place that you can come do business and all that kind of stuff, have meetings and such. But it was an interesting thing because the newer mental health facility was literally right next door to this beautiful structure.
Yeah.
So, we turn them into hotels. And we always call them boutique hotels, right? An asylum. That's what they tend to turn them into. Has anybody ever taken one of these asylums and turned them back into a hospital-like situation? Maybe not for mental health, but does anybody ever take these big structures on that were set up as a hospital to reinstate them as hospitals?
I apologize. Somebody's cutting the grass, so quite loud. I'm not sure who it is, but sorry. I know that, and I keep talking about the Trans-Allegheny Asylum, but I love that place, and I really respect everything that the owners are doing there. But, they're trying to get it back to what it looked like in the late 1800s when it was first built. Okay. And what they're doing is educating people that come in. They are making it almost like into a museum as to what people endured, when they were in the asylum, what the doctors would do to the patients, what medications the patients were put on. I mean, it's a very educational experience. So they're not really using it, I guess, to create, turn it into a working hospital, I guess, but they are turning it into almost like a hospital museum.
Wow.
So that's kind of cool.
That is cool. It's a step closer, right? Yeah. Keeping it something a little bit more true to what it was instead of making it a fun place to, I don't know, take a break from whatever vacation you're I always thought that was they did a great job in the Hotel Henry at this asylum. It's a beautiful building, but at the same time, you're just like, this just feels really wrong almost. This is now this amazing, luxurious boutique hotel. And unfortunately, it didn't survive through the COVID years, but I'm not sure what they're going to do with it now because that was a lot of renovation and they still had a lot of the building left to do and they didn't get to it. So we'll see what happens there. So do you go, D-Hoot, I'm not sure if you're asking, will they allow ghost hunting or if you're talking about Trans-Allegheny or if you're talking about the Buffalo. Buffalo is, when it was the Hotel Henry, they did not like to discuss any of the paranormal. It was hard to find somebody that would talk to you about that. I mean, they'd let you roam, but they didn't really honor that part of their history very much. So do you're writing books?
Yes.
Do you want to expand outside of Michigan and have a haunted series from around the United States, or are you sort of just focusing in right now on Michigan?
Well, right now I write for the Haunted America series for Acadia Publishing. So I'm going to have 2 books in this series, which I'm proud to say because I didn't know how I was going to make it after the first one. I mean, it was almost
congratulations. That's awesome.
But I am going to be living in Belfast, Northern Ireland for a month next year.
Oh, wow.
And, I would love to write an international haunting book. I'm just trying to find a person that wants to do that with me, preferably somebody who lives over there.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's kind of a challenge because I don't know where to begin with that, but
Yeah.
I am open to the idea.
Awesome. Okay, well, guys, get the word out. Find somebody in
Yeah.
Ireland to hook up with Nicole
Yes, help
so
me,
she can,
please.
get this haunted worldly book series
Yeah.
out there, right?
What are you going to
So-
be doing in Ireland? Is that the whole point? Is to go out there and write a book, or is there some other?
Nope. I got a gig pet sitting 6 cats, and it's I actually got the gig from a friend of mine that I haven't met her in person yet, but I met her because we're both big Titanic fans, and she wants to go to Spain for the month, and she said if I watch her 6 cats for the month that I could have her house in her car for a month. So
Wow,
Ooh.
that's amazing. I love that.
Yeah.
I couldn't
Very
pass it
holiday.
up, Yeah.
No, why would you pass that up?
Wow,
So
that's a great opportunity. You will be able to meet up with somebody and check out the haunted locations. I'm sure of it. A month?
I would love that. I mean, I'm going this year as well. I'm going next month to England, France, Spain, and Northern Ireland. I'm going actually on a Ghosts of Europe cruise with Amy and Adam and John Tenney and all the greats, of course. But I'm just going to get my feet wet on this trip. And then next year, I'm going to really get to delve more into, everything that they have over there and kind of get a feel for living, as someone that's from Northern Ireland. So can't wait.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds really awesome.
I can't wait to hear about that.
Yeah. So do you get out often to do any kind of just investigating, just as Nicole, I'm going as an investigator, I'm going to go in there and give it my all. Do you do that often?
I do run a paranormal team. With the books, writing the books, it's been very hard to get out and do that because since 2020, I've been writing basically one book after the other. But this October, I am proud to say I am working with a local business that we are going to start offering public ghost hunts here in downtown Bay City.
Oh.
So we are working to find the location. We should have the location confirmed by the end of this month, and then I can probably announce where it's going to be. But I'm so excited because for the past however many years I've been doing lectures at the different libraries around here, we've gotten so many people that say, I cannot wait to go on an investigation with you. I can't wait to check out some of the locations, from your book. I can't wait to check out, I've heard all these stories about X, Y, and Z being haunted. And now I can finally say, finally, we have a public investigation for you guys. You can sign up, here. And I can't wait. I just cannot wait.
Yeah.
It's been a long time coming. So
Yeah. So you don't do any, are you ever asked to do home investigations or anything like that?
Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah. I also just recently got a grant from the Chamber of Commerce to become a member. So I'm even having the woman who's in charge of the orientations. She's even writing me saying, hey, I heard so-and-so's house is haunted. Are you interested? So I definitely do house and business investigations. I just have kind of taken a little break when I was writing the books.
Okay.
So now that the books are over, my schedule's a lot more free.
So explain, I know you have a very interesting massage sort of business. I saw that on your event as well. So explain a little bit the name of your business and sort of how you've incorporated the paranormal with that.
Okay. Well, I run a business called the Traveling Spooky Spa. It is a traveling massage business, but I also run an in-home apothecary. So basically that came about because I was a vendor at Michigan Paracon. And that was, I'm trying to think, 2021, because of course 2020 we couldn't go.
Right.
So it was kind of weird because in the quarantine I was very productive. I studied really hard and became a licensed massage therapist. And also my book came out that same month. So I had basically 2 new jobs. Once September rolled around, September of 2020. And then I kind of started up this impromptu spa, I guess you could say, at the Paracon.
Mhm.
And then everybody was just like asking me, do you have a business or what's the name of your business? At the time, I was representing the chiropractor that I worked for, but I just called it the Traveling Spooky Spa, and it stuck. And I tried to do energy work, but energy work that is, and I'm not trying to knock Reiki. I think like that's great, but my energy work is all hands-on stuff. So I do like positive energy massage where I use different tools and methods and techniques that will flood the brain with endorphins and will kind of give people like a mood boost. So it's a little bit different, it's not your typical energy work. It's a little bit different, but I find that it's providing people with a lot of joy and happiness.
Good.
Keep doing my thing, I guess.
Good. And okay, so you kind of have that traveling spooky spas. So do you find like, is there any niche that you get in there with investigators to help them, like either after investigations, or like, do you ever tie, like you did it at the Paracon, but like, do you ever tie in that paranormal aspect to these?
Basically, when I set up the Traveling Spooky Spa, I was hoping to do a lot of paranormal conventions.
Okay.
It's still kind of, I've been so inundated with requests since this Haunted Detroit book's about to come out, with presentations and just a bunch of other stuff, that I really haven't been able to kind of sign up for that, the many events that I wanted to.
Okay.
But yeah, it was primarily supposed to be like paranormal and horror conventions. I was hoping to kind of take it to Kentucky for Scarefest.
Okay.
I'm going to be at Mid-Michigan Paracon with my Traveling Spooky Spa. But I will say something that was a little different about it, I guess, is when I first launched it at Michigan Paracon, I was playing like instrumental horror music, and it was like, I don't know, it was just like a whole vibe.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to stick with kind of a theme here. All of my oils that I create kind of have like spooky names, and everything's kind of following that same theme. But I don't really, I guess I don't really seek out people on investigations to massage them.
Right. But if they're coming to these conventions, right? Like that's something that can they do this outside of the conventions though? Do you have a space that you go to, that somebody's like, I want your services for a massage? Where do they go to do that?
Usually they just write me on Facebook or email me, and I'll go to their house or business, but my table is very heavy. So,
yeah.
I log it in there and I get it, I get it set up and everything, and all is usually well, but it's, I would be so happy if I had an actual location. It's just, I'm just afraid because it seems sometimes like, well, at least in my neck of the woods, that massage it's not as valued as like hair services. People in this area are still trying to, we're still trying to teach people to invest in their health and why massage is beneficial. And, instead of going to get a coffee every morning at Starbucks, like put that money towards getting a massage, because it does lower your blood pressure and it has a ton of other benefits, positive effects on the brain and mental health and all that. But yeah, it's just not a very big thing here. So that's why I'm not pulling the trigger, so to speak, on like getting a location.
Right.
Because I'm not sure that this is the target demographic here.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Salem, maybe Salem.
Yeah, I'd just be curious, if it was a service that somebody had, after big investigations, if that's something that a team would bring in, like, hey, okay, we're going to go do, like I'm watching here, Christina from, Get Haunted is like, we should hire a team masseuse, right? Like,
right.
So,
that's a great idea.
Right. So like they do a big event, and, the reality is many of us, we talk a big game with, I do this before and I do this after investigation. But the reality is the more you do it, you start, that stuff slips, right? You're not as good about taking care of yourself. So, that could be kind of a cool niche where, you are somebody that they could call in and you just say, look, this is what you guys, since the benefits are so great, right? And it forces people to drink water, because if you don't drink water after massage, you will be regretful. Right. So, right. So it would be a really interesting thing. And does that help with paranormal hangover? Does it help relieve any negative interaction that you had? Like you said, you can flood somebody's mind with endorphins. So is that something that, would be beneficial to teams for you to come out and travel?
It probably would be. I mean, especially, I can't speak for anybody else, but I remember my days like investigating historic Fort Wayne in Detroit. And my God, I felt like I walked like 40 miles uphill, like they did back in the day. And every part of my body would hurt. And I mean, I wasn't in bad physical shape then or anything. It was just, it's such a lot of physical effort, and you're carrying a lot of stuff on your back. And it's just not really, it's just very hard on your body. Right. Investigation. So yeah, I think for sure it would be beneficial. It's just a matter of having somebody call me in, I guess.
Yeah. Well, we need to get the word out. I mean, honestly, you think about, you pull an all-nighter or almost an all-nighter and you're exhausted, and sometimes it's hard to come down, and you need those moments of, right? Like that might be a lot of work. You'd have to have a staff probably after a while, because how are you going to take care of an entire team? But, I think if you got it within that first 24 hours of investigating, and also, if you're doing this energy work, and especially hands-on, like, does that trigger anything that did happen through that night? Do you get some deeper understanding to your experience at these locations? I don't know. I think somebody should hire her and try it.
I love
and
the
share
idea.
with the Lunds.
I mean, with the price of gas prices, who couldn't use some extra money, right?
Right. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, we're always looking for new ways. Sometimes we're always going after, new forms of equipment. That's always the same piece of equipment, just a new name, right?
Yeah.
So why don't we take care of the piece of equipment that really matters during these investigations? And that's ourselves. And so we don't do that. We really don't I can name several investigators that don't do that. I'm looking over here in the chat. We don't eat properly. We don't drink properly. We don't rest properly before and after. And that stuff is so important to these connections that we're trying to make on the other side. So I stand with you on this as well. I think that we don't put enough value on self-care. And that's the most important thing that you can do, and keeps you stable and balanced when you're at these investigations. I don't know. I'd be curious too. Maybe if you did it, I would almost love to do this experiment. Have a massage before an investigation and see how that is different,
right?
Opposed to not going in with that sort of relaxed state of mind. I just can't lay on my stomach. It makes me sick. So, so getting a massage, I can't do the front and then the back. I have to be just one way. But I would be curious, like, how does that enhance anything? Does it enhance your gifts in any way? Does it enhance your experience anyway? I'd be very curious.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Well, I feel like massage, it makes people a lot more relaxed, and that could be beneficial, I think, because so many times, at least newer investigators, they'll go in the cases and they'll be really afraid and anxious. And I think that that's kind of closing yourself off to being open to anything happening.
Sure. Yeah. Does it make you more vulnerable if you're super relaxed, like, I don't know. All right. So tell us again about your 2 events that are coming up here in Michigan, which I think I'm really going to have to try to hit, Dee. I think I might have to try to get out to Eloise.
Yeah. So, so August 13th, I'm having my first book release party at Eloise Asylum. It's going to be from 4 to 10 p.m. I did specifically have this event on a Saturday at night, so anybody can come and nobody will have an excuse not to miss it this time.
That's right. No excuses, people.
The last time I did an event like this, it was on a Friday, and it was 3 to 9 p.m. Okay. And I had so many people that came, but also so many people complaining saying, I wish this was on a Saturday. So I said, okay, I won't make that mistake again. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So, yes, so it's on a Saturday, 4 to 10 p.m. There's going to be vendors, psychics, refreshments, photo opportunities, actors, me.
That's right.
There's going to be another one on the 20th of August at Erebus Haunted Attraction, again, 4 to 10 p.m. And different actors, but also the same things like vendors, psychics, refreshments, and photo opportunities. And they're going to be at 2 of the locations that are in the book.
That is, and we can purchase your book right there, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So go check out Haunted Detroit when these release parties happen. Get your copy. Where can they get that book if they can't make an event or they're not in Michigan and it's too much of a drive for them? Where can they get your book?
They can get it right now. It's available for pre-order on bookdepository.com, which is, I believe, free shipping, and it ships anywhere in the world. There is Amazon. Barnes & Noble. That's the other one that has it available for pre-order. I'm not really sure if any other websites do, but if you literally go on Google, type in Haunted Detroit book, it'll pull up a lot of different places that are going to likely be carrying it. A lot of like independent bookstores and things like that. So, and
that's the first book that you wrote?
Haunted Detroit is the second book that I wrote.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And so that one, they're both out?
Haunted Bay City, Michigan is out right now. That one was published in 2020. So that's available on Amazon right now. And, a lot of other online bookstores. And if people are in the area of Bay City, they can go to the Antique Center downtown or the USS Edson and purchase it. And it's even available at Walgreens here. So
see, I do. I pick up some great books at our drugstore that are the historical books. They're awesome. Yeah. Rob is asking, will there be any live feeds from this event?
I don't think so, unless somebody streams it somehow with their phone, but I probably won't be doing that just because the last time that I did a book signing, I was signing books for a very long time, hours and hours and hours. Like I didn't even have a chance really to take a sip of water. It was crazy. Wow. Which I'm very thankful for, by the way, because it was in the middle of COVID, and I didn't think anybody was going to show up, and I was bawling my eyes out. Aww. I will admit that I was crying because I was like, why in God's name, when I have something finally happening for me, like the universe is trying to thwart my success and nobody's probably going to come. And then it was just like a sea of people like coming in both doors, and
awesome.
I signed so many books. I had writer's cramp so bad, but I appreciated it. So I tend to be pretty busy, and hopefully Detroit will be just as busy.
Yeah.
At least, like I said, I'm hoping, but I'm trying to throw like a really good, fun event for all ages. The book itself is not very child friendly because it's got some very dark stories in it, but I want people to be able to bring their families and just have a great time.
I love that.
Sorry,
it's important to be able to I know. It's nice to be able to bring your kids to events because a lot of times it's not child appropriate. So that's cool. I love that.
For sure.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I was just going to say that I have some presentations that'll be coming up in the fall, which I will post on my Facebook page. And basically it's going to be my attempt at making Haunted Detroit child friendly because the libraries are requesting that it be age appropriate from like age 10 and up. Oh, I am so sorry.
Oh, there you go. Look at that.
I had a visitor. Addicted. What can I say? But this is Landon, everybody. He doesn't know boundaries, but but yeah, so that's going to be my attempt at making Haunted Detroit kid friendly. So that should be very interesting.
Awesome.
Wish me luck.
Yeah, good luck.
No,
with
that's
that.
good.
I do. I love that, especially because, like, look, when you were a kid, you were checking out those books. I mean, these are things
Right.
that kids are interested in. So
Yeah.
it totally should be kid appropriate. And I wanted to say, make sure we say hello to Joe Fox. He came on and said, hello, everyone.
Yeah.
Hello, Joe Fox. Nicole, it's such a pleasure to meet you. I'm hoping that I'm going to put in my calendar August 13th so I can come out and check out Eloise. Maybe that's something I could come out and do a little Paranormally Blonde live feed. Maybe I'll bring Dee Dee along with me in my pocket. and we'll check out the event together so everybody knows what's going on. I hope everybody gets this book that's coming out. If you don't have Haunted Bay City as well, grab that. But definitely for sure Haunted Detroit. I'm a little partial there. So check that book out when it comes out. Nicole, we look forward to seeing all that you do. Your cruise sounds amazing. Your Ireland trip in itself, like what a fun adventure. I hope you share, your adventures along the way, and we will follow you. Yes. Good luck, Nicole, from Travis.
Well, thank you so much.
That is awesome. Dehu says, thank you all. Continued successes. You're out there killing it, girl. So we stand behind you, and
thank you. And I don't know if this is really the place to do this, but if you guys wanted to come do your show at one of my book events, I'd be cool with that.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
We probably have more space at the one on the 20th at Erebus, because that's kind of a bigger location, but totally up to you. But the offer is open if you're interested.
Thank you.
Well, you know what? We've got some time to plan that. Hopefully I'm not off taking a kid to school, but if I'm not, hopefully I'll be at Erebus and we'll do a fun little show. And there's like a lot going on now. It's kind of like, I guess I was like, there's nothing ever going on in Detroit. And all I had to do was find Nicole. I just had to find Nicole.
Put it out in the universe. Yeah.
Did. And Nicole was the answer. So we will keep following you, Nicole. Good luck on all of that. Guys, thank you so much for once again joining in on the conversation with Dee Dee and I. It always is better when you guys are off to the side adding to this conversation. And the questions are always awesome. It kind of looked like maybe some people over on the side knew who Nicole was. I guess I think so. Yeah, I guess I was like one of one, or I don't know, one of two, the two of us. I was like, she felt like I've been stalking her, but I just, she's attached to some pretty big names. So good for her. Cruises, right? Jealous.
Yes, I saw that cruise. Going on a haunted cruise in Europe. Yes, I say yes.
Plus, she's going to Ireland, which you always light up when the word Ireland comes up.
Yes, if anyone wants me to babysit their cats for a month in Ireland, just call me.
That's right. You heard it here on Paranormally Blind. So, guys, thank you so much for sharing your Monday night with us once again, and we will see you next week live from the historic Scott County Jail. And who knows what we're gonna get there. So, so that's it. Happy June, guys! It's the Blonde's birthday, so. Hop in and find out what kind of fun we got planned this month. So
and we do.
We do too. So you guys have a great rest of your evening, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
See ya.